Hello friends, today we'll talk about Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. This book isn't just a book, but a guide that gives us a chance to see our lives from a new perspective. This book takes us on a journey that can connect us with the peace and joy within us. On this journey, we can understand our inner depths and see our lives in a new light, away from sorrow and closer to happiness. When we live in the present moment, we can leave our sorrows behind and embrace happiness in our lives. Imagine a life where the past doesn't bother you, a life where you can fully live each moment without any regrets or worries, a life where the future doesn't make you anxious. When we live in the present moment, we can free ourselves from worries about the future and live our lives in a new way. The Power of Now tells us exactly this. This book teaches us how to live in the present moment and see our lives in a new light. This book teaches us to live right now in this very moment because this moment is truly all we have. When we live in the present, we can fully experience life and enjoy every moment. In this book, Tolle guides us like a good teacher. He teaches us how to live in the present moment and see our lives in a new way. He reminds us that this moment is not just a point in time, but the path to true freedom. When we live in the present, we can fully experience life and enjoy every moment. In this very moment, we recognize our true selves without the baggage of past sorrows or future worries. When we live in the present, we can fully experience life and enjoy every moment. Today, we'll understand some important points from The Power of Now that we can use in our daily lives. These points will teach us how to live in the present moment and see our lives in a new way. This is not just something to understand, but a way of life. When we live in the present moment, we can fully experience life and enjoy every moment. So let's start this journey right now in this very moment. This journey helps us understand the importance of living in the present and gives us a chance to see our lives in a new light. Right now, in this very moment, we can fully experience life and enjoy every moment. Ever noticed how much our mind wanders? We often get lost in our thoughts, sometimes thinking about the past, sometimes worrying about the future. These thoughts become so ingrained in our minds that we forget our present. We keep remembering old things, lost in sadness or happiness. These memories sometimes make us laugh, sometimes cry. We often think that if we had done something differently, our life would have been different. We remain engrossed in worries about the future, imagining scenarios that might not even happen. We create scenarios in our mind, thinking, what if this happens? What if that happens? This worry makes us restless and we miss out on living our today. But Tolle asks us to think, what if the way we think about time is just an illusion? What if the past and the future are just creations of our mind? What if the way we perceive time is just an illusion? Tolle says that our experience of time is just a mental construct. We are so entangled in our thoughts that we lose the opportunity to live in the present. He says that the past and the future exist only in our minds. Neither truly exists in reality. The past is just a memory, and the future is just a guess. We make them so big in our thoughts that they start affecting our present. The past is just a memory, and the future is just a guess. We often get lost in our thoughts and forget that our real life is only in this moment. Instead of living our present, we remain entangled in our thoughts. Neither truly exists. They are just thoughts that we magnify by giving them our attention. We are so caught up in our thoughts that we miss the opportunity to live in the present. These thoughts become so deep-rooted in our minds that we miss out on living our today. Life is happening only now, in this very moment. Our real life is only in this moment. When we are free from our thoughts, only then can we live in the present. This moment is our real life. When we are lost in thoughts of the past or future, we miss the beauty of this moment. We lose the opportunity to live in the present. This moment is our real life, and we miss out on living it. We are like guests at a royal feast who are so busy looking at yesterday's leftovers or tomorrow's menu that we don't enjoy today's delicious food. We miss the opportunity to live in the present and remain entangled in our thoughts. Tolle tells us to let go of the past and worries about the future. He advises us to live in this moment, to enjoy every moment. We can live in the present by freeing ourselves from our thoughts. He advises us to live in this moment, to enjoy every moment. We can live in the present by freeing ourselves from our thoughts. This moment is our real life, and we have every right to live it. So let's break free from the prison created by our minds and live in the reality of this moment. Let's enjoy living in the present by freeing ourselves from our thoughts. This moment is our real life, and we have every right to live it. An important concept in The Power of Now is ego. But what is ego, and how does it prevent us from fully experiencing this moment? Tolle describes the ego as a false identity, constructed from our thoughts, beliefs, and memories. It's the voice in our head that's always judging, comparing, and seeking approval from others. The ego clings to the past and the future. It holds on to past successes to define itself and worries about future failures. But all of this traps us in a cycle of suffering. Tolle says that our true self lies beyond the ego. Our true self is a peaceful observer that watches our thoughts come and go without judgment. Recognizing the ego is the first step towards freedom. By observing our thoughts without getting attached to them, we create space for the present moment. Section 4. The Power of Stillness. How to find peace amidst the noise. In our lives, peace is something that often eludes us. The noise, busyness, and stress around us take us away from this peace. But have you ever wondered how we can find peace amidst this noise? In the stillness of this moment, we connect with a power that transcends the limitations of our mind. This power comes from our inner depths, where we can recognize our true selves. When we bring this peace into our lives, we feel a deep connection with our being. Tolle says that this power is our true self, pure awareness, which is often hidden in the noise of our thoughts. This true self takes us beyond our thoughts and emotions, where we can see our lives from a new perspective. It's a state where we are not slaves to our thoughts, but witnesses to them. Imagine a calm lake. This lake represents a state where everything is clear and transparent. When we look at this lake, we experience a similar peace within ourselves. This lake reminds us that within us too there is a state where everything is clear and transparent. When the lake is calm, the beauty of the mountains and sky is clearly reflected in it. This beauty reminds us that when our thoughts are calm, we can also clearly see the beauty of our lives. It's a state where we can fully live every moment of our lives. But when ripples arise in the lake, the reflection gets distorted. These ripples remind us that when our thoughts are restless, we cannot see our lives clearly. These ripples remind us that the noise of our thoughts takes us away from our true selves. This is like our mind. Our mind is also like a lake, where waves of thoughts rise and fall. When these waves are calm, we can see our lives clearly. But when these waves are restless, we cannot see our lives clearly. When our mind is caught up in the ego's worries and desires, it prevents us from seeing this moment clearly. These worries and desires take us away from our true selves. They remind us that the noise of our thoughts takes us away from our true selves. But when the mind is calm, when we are fully present in this moment, we become like that calm lake, which clearly reflects reality. This state connects us with our true selves, where we can see our lives clearly. It's a state where we can fully live every moment of our lives. This state is not about emptying the mind. It's about creating a new relationship with our thoughts. It reminds us that our thoughts are not our enemies, but our friends. It reminds us that we can create a new relationship with our thoughts. Rather, it's about changing our relationship with our thoughts. It reminds us that we can create a new relationship with our thoughts. It reminds us that we can observe our thoughts without judgment. We learn to observe them without judgment, letting them come and go like clouds in the sky. These clouds remind us that our thoughts also come and go, and we can observe them without judgment. They remind us that we can create a new relationship with our thoughts, where we observe them without judgment. Section 5. Ways to stay rooted in the present moment. The power of now is not just theory. It gives us practical ways to live in the present moment. Tolle gives us several techniques to stay grounded in the present moment. One simple technique is to focus on our breath. When we inhale, we focus our attention on the breath coming in. When we exhale, we release all tension and thoughts. Another powerful technique is to fully engage our senses. Right now, in this very moment, what are we seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching? By getting lost in this moment through our senses, we shift our attention away from the noise of our thoughts. Tolle also emphasizes the importance of stillness. This can be achieved through meditation, spending time in nature, or simply sitting quietly and observing the world around us. In these quiet moments, we bring our true selves to the forefront.